I will have your tongue for that.
After the conclusion of House of the Dragon Episode 8, the Dance of the Dragons officially begins as King Viserys' doom finally transpires. The majority of House of the Dragon Season 1 featured the frail King Viserys Targaryen, whose survival over the past 16 years has been rather surprising. However, House of the Dragon Episode 8 suggests that the sick Viserys has eventually been taken by the stranger and reunited with his first wife, Aemma, after a final meal with both Targaryen clans. The Lord of the Tides, the 8th episode of House of the Dragon, ends with a few surprises that signal the start of the Targaryen civil war. The next generation of Targaryens will further divide the heirs of King Viserys into Rhaenyra's Black Party and Alicent Green Party, which have been progressively growing over the years. The violent dance of the dragons will finally start now that King Viserys appears to be going down in House of the Dragon Episode 8. Viserys' last words were unintentionally what spurred the historic act of treason to take place. Therefore, it was only fitting that the House of the Dragon included one final surprise before disclosing the king's tragic demise. The king is declared dead in Episode 8 of House of the Dragon, while Viserys has already staged his demise in Episode 5. Viserys likely expended all of his energy to make one more ascent to the Iron Throne, gather his family for a large meal, and inform Rhaenyra that he believes in Aegon's prophecy and knows she must continue to live out his Song of Ice and Fire dream. House of the Dragon Episode 8 goes to black when Viserys says "my love" after receiving milk of the poppy once more, indicating that the king has indeed passed away. In the 8th episode of the House of the Dragon, Viserys addresses Rhaenyra's mother, Aemma Ryn, with the words "my love." After his first wife was brutally murdered in House of the Dragon Episode 1, the king never ceased loving her, and because of his illness and unwavering loyalty to her, Viserys unintentionally called Alicent Aemma. Viserys' gesture of reaching out and uttering "my love" is meant to imply that he has at last passed on and been reunited with Aemma. Neither of them is any longer burdened by the sorrow of their responsibilities. Even though these were Viserys' actual final remarks in House of the Dragon, Alicent thinks they were completely different. In the 8th episode of House of the Dragon, Viserys receives Alicent's visit in tea just before he passes away, mistaking her for Rhaenyra. Viserys' daughter had asked him late the previous night whether he still believed in Aegon the Conqueror's dream and whether he thought she should be the one to carry such a burden. The king finally responded to Alicent's questions the following night. Viserys affirms his belief in Aegon's vision, which includes the White Walkers emerging from the north, and the prince that was promised unifying the realm in opposition to the icy and menacing forces. Viserys claims that Rhaenyra is the one who must do this and bear the burden of Aegon's prophecy, thinking that she is the one he is speaking to. King Viserys' death is the trigger that finally permits the race to start, since the Greens and Blacks of the House of the Dragon have been waiting at the starting line for quite some time. As the Greens and Blacks can now make the decisive move by establishing Viserys' successor, the death of King Viserys heralds the start of the Targaryen civil war in the House of the Dragon. By usurping the Iron Throne, the Greens would be formally declaring war on Rhaenyra if they were to crown Aegon first. If Rhaenyra receives the crown before Aegon, the Greens will decide to rebel and claim that Aegon is more deserving of the throne. War is now imminent because neither side will renounce what they think they are due. Since Alicent and the Greens are the ones in King's Landing with knowledge of the king's death and access to the Iron Throne, the Conqueror's crown, and an anointing scepter, Aegon has a head start for his coronation. One of them was able to hold an official coronation beforehand, and the Dance of the Dragons will finally determine whether Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen or King Aegon II Targaryen is the legitimate ruler of Westeros. According to George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood novel, Aegon and Alicent were in King's Landing when Viserys passed away, so they were able to keep the king's demise a secret for a week before making it public. By this time, Aegon had already undergone a formal coronation, making him the recognized ruler of Westeros. Rhaenyra didn't learn of Viserys' demise until a week after it occurred because she was on Dragonstone at the time. Rhaenyra's quick coronation on Dragonstone was a result of the fact that Aegon had already been installed as Viserys' heir on the Iron Throne. Rhaenyra's brother was recognized as Viserys' initial successor to the Iron Throne because this was done after Aegon had already carried out his ceremonial ceremony. But Queen Rhaenyra will ultimately succeed Aegon to the Iron Throne and reign from King's Landing for a period of 6 months. The Iron Throne would thus be occupied by both heirs, but Aegon retracts his statement and says Rhaenyra will only be recognized as princess in historical records, effectively nullifying her official rule as queen. Ultimately, neither formally wins the House of the Dragon's civil war, as both die before the feud ends and Rhaenyra's son Aegon III Targaryen is crowned King of Westeros. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to comment, subscribe and give us a like. Subscribe and